Now, from the Columbia Basin, your local news source, this is iFIBER 1 News, presented in high definition. The #1 source for real-time local news, local sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. With your iFIBER 1 News team, reporting news in real time as it's happening. From the iFIBER Communications HD broadcast studio in Ephrata, Washington, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Good evening, I'm Cody Johnson, and today is Thursday, October 18th. Tonight we report on the decision on whether Soap Lake becomes Lake Smokeyam, and the generous donations to the Columbia Basin Cancer Foundation. We'll also take a look at how some Lakeview Park residents opposed annexation into Soap Lake, and the recognition of hard work by the Grand Coulee Dam's American Legion. We have the weekend weather forecast for the Columbia Basin from our iFIBER 1 Weather Center. And in sports, we talk about the 49ers, Patrick Willis dreaming of stopping the beast tonight when the 49ers take on the Seahawks. Our spotlight story tonight is about a Moses Lake couple turning their hobby of beer making into a business. Our top story, a decision on the proposal to change the name of Soap Lake to Lake Smokeyam has been put off until November. The Washington State Committee on Geographic Names had the item on its agenda for this Friday, but their meeting was rescheduled for November 16th. The recommendation to change the name came last year from Soap Lake resident Bonnie Holt Morehouse and Moses Lake historian Robert Ruby. Under their proposal, the city would keep its current name, while the lake itself would include Smokeyam, a Salish term that translates to healing waters. The State Geographic Names Committee meets twice a year to consider proposals from the public concerning the naming of geographic features here in Washington State. The Linus Club of Moses Lake gave $3,500 to the Columbia Basin Cancer Foundation from funds raised by the Space Burger booth last spring. The foundation also received $15,000 donation from Brotherton Seed Company. Marketing Director for the Columbia Basin Cancer Foundation, Angel Needler, said the money will be used to assist patients in Grant and Adams counties with things like gas cards to help patients get to doctor visits, checkups, and treatments. Linus Club President Mary Mayo said all money raised by the booth is split between the Columbia Basin Cancer Foundation and the American Cancer Society. Some Lakeview Park residents oppose the idea of their neighborhood being annexed into Soap Lake. A few spoke to the city council about it, and here with that story and more news about Soap Lake is Ryan Lancaster.
A Lakeview Park woman approached the Soap Lake City Council last night to express her opposition to a rumor the city is considering annexation of her neighborhood.
We've shot it down several times over the years and are just really opposed.
Sylvia Laybourne is the president of her neighborhood watch group. She said she recently learned about the possibility of annexation from a Soap Lake police officer.
There is a lot of questions in regards to that, and a lot of neighbors who are not wanting that, especially the fact that one of our biggest things would be that we would then have your fire department, and we like our county firefighters. We also like our county sheriffs. We like being county.
Mayor Raymond Gravel said he too would like to know more information about the prospect of annexation, but the city has no plans in the works at this time. In other business, the Soap Lake Council raised residents' sewer bills by $5 a month to help pay for a $1.6 million upgrade to the wastewater treatment plant. Nancy Mortar, a civil engineer with Gray & Osborne, outlined the plan to install new screens, sludge pumps, aerators, and make improvements to the facility's electrical system, which is currently in severe disrepair. The city applied for and received a $1.4 million Public Works Trust Fund loan, which must be paid back within 3 years. Design planning should begin in November, and Mortar estimates the project should be finished by 2015. Gravel gave a brief update on the Soap Lake mineral water system, which has been down since an underground pipe burst in August. The city is working to install state-mandated cross-flow prevention devices on the system before the water pipe can be capped at the break and turned back on, bringing lake water to 3 local businesses. Finally, the council voted to change the start time for their bi-weekly meetings from 7 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. The new hours could take effect as soon as their next meeting, November 7th. For iFIBER 1 News, this is Ryan Lancaster reporting.
Thanks, Ryan. The Grand Coulee Dam's American Legion Post 157 is one of 5 posts in Washington to receive a recognition of post excellence from the national organization. According to the Star newspaper, Post 157 excelled in 4 key areas: membership results, youth activity, community service, and service to troops and veterans. The citation expresses appreciation for the local post's unselfish duty, devotion, and compassion towards their fellow men and women. Post 157 Commander Chuck Henspeter cited Legion members with earning the award. The Grant County Health District is hosting a free grant writing workshop in Coulee City on Saturday, October 27th from 8 to 5 p.m. The workshop is intended to assist local communities in developing their grant writing skills and is held at the Coulee City Fire Department at 317 West Main Street. Lunch will be provided. The trainer is Sylvie McGee, who has more than 20 years of successful grant writing experience. She's helped communities obtain more than $47 million for capital, operations, special projects. To register, call Teresa Atkins at 509-766-7960, extension 24. You can also send email to tatkins@granthealth.org. The Moses Lake City Council is holding a study session before their regular October 23rd meeting to discuss the 2013 budget. Council members will give input to the city staff on drafting a preliminary budget, which will be presented for City Council consideration later this year. The study session is open to the public and begins at 6 p.m. The Council's regular meeting starts at 7. The State Department of Corrections is once again looking for people with arrest warrants. Each of the people you see here have warrants for their arrest and are wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these individuals, the DOC asks that you not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m. We'll be right back after these messages with the latest forecast from our iFIBER 1 Weather Center.